The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from WizKids. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the daughter.
And today we are playing Tower of London.
This is by WizKids.
Yeah, this is basically dudes on a map.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely area control.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get ravens.
Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
That's
ravens
so
of
Raven.
Death.
Ravens of Death, yeah.
I call them ravens of death. And you're moving around your little guards who are known as beefeaters.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting.
And there's neat abilities you can do. You can blow up a building.
You can. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Guy Fawkes thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
That was
gunpowder
Parliament,
treason.
though.
Yeah.
That was the tower.
I know, but you're blowing up British buildings. Yeah, there's a connection
I
there.
don't think that's really proved. Don't go up ground blowing British buildings up.
Probably not.
Probably not. But anyway, in our game, it's totally acceptable.
So let's see if we blow up any buildings.
All right.
All right, so the Tower of London has a legend, and it says, legend has it that the Tower of London has only fallen to enemy influence when the guards, the beefeaters, have less than 7 ravens in the tower. Even today, England clips the wings of captive ravens and keeps extra ravens around to be sure that they never fall below 7 ravens again.
That is pretty true.
Is it?
I think that's pretty accurate.
Well,
I mean, they have, I don't know how accurate it is, but, I know in Doctor Who they mention in the 50th episode, Kate's like, oh, our ravens of death, they look a little sluggish. They might need new batteries. They have some fake ones, apparently, is the rumor. But
Yeah.
I do think they actually might have 7 ravens.
Well, you know the English lore better than I do. So our beefeaters, there's these little
They're
cubes.
not they don't just eat beef.
They don't?
That's just their name. They're like the royal guards of the tower.
Oh, here I
But
thought
they have some pretty cool.
Well, I thought they were like
costumes.
the opposite of vegetarian.
No, but
You know,
if you
they
can see
were
on the
beef
side of
eaters.
the box, they have these kind of cool, there we go, Shakespearean-esque Elizabethan era clothes, which is kind of cool.
Mm.
But that's what they look like.
I consider myself a beef eater because I like steak.
I mean, but you don't guard the crown jewels.
No.
You can't prevent Moriarty from coming in.
No. So the way we are going to collect ravens is by controlling buildings in the Tower of London. So we have 3 scoring phases. We have the first round, the second round, and the third round. So at the end of those rounds, we're going to score. So based on who has control of the most buildings in the orange section at the end of the first round, we'll get 2 ravens. Second place will get 1, and third place will get 0. And then let's just point out the third round there. While you got the card. The second round is pretty much the same, except you start with green and then go orange again. Third round, you go blue, green, and then orange. But orange in the final round gets 3 ravens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice. Now, you saw that it said 3 players on that card.
Yes.
We're dad versus daughter. We are only 2 players. So what we've done is we've come up with a dummy player. So let's just call him Hefe.
We always call him Hefe.
Well, we call him Jeff, and we started calling him Hefe. So what we're going to do is we have shuffled his deck of cards up, and we will just draw from that. Now, we each have the identical 13 cards right here, and you'll see that they're in our color, and they all have various things. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle these up and draw 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is our hand. So I'm going to look at my hand here, and the numbers on the stained glass windows that have the ravens, that is where I'm going to place. So the first card that I choose, I'm going to choose 2 cards, and let's just say for the sake of argument I choose these. I put these face down, and then once everybody's got them face down, then the first player will go, and let's just say this was my first card. So I flip my cards over, and I'm going to place on either the 13, the 26, or the 39 spot. Now, I don't care about the text here. I only care about where I can place. Now, my second card is reverse of that. The second card, I'm not going to worry about this, and I'm going only to use the ability here. In this case, it would be the cannon. So then once we're done with that, we will put those cards aside. When we are done with playing all 6 of our cards, that will be the end of the round. and we'll do our scoring. And then what we're going to do is out of those 6, we're going to choose 3 that we basically are going to keep, and those will go back into our deck. The other 3 are going to be removed from the game, so we won't see those the rest of the time. We're going to do that at the end of each round. So basically they call that the reduction of decks. So
Yep. So you're kind of narrowing down what you don't think you'll use next time and kind of stacking the deck in your favor for what kind of abilities or numbers that you'll want for the following turns.
right, you're going to take those 3 that you decide to keep, shuffle them into your deck, draw 6 cards, and do the next round. Also, we have all these different event cards, and we showed these off in our unboxing, but they do various things that kind of mess with the game. So those are events that take place basically during the entire course of that round. We're going to shuffle these up, and we only use 3. We use 1 for each round. So that effect will be in play for the entire round. So I'm shuffling these up. I don't think there's much else to talk about other than how we are going to control that dummy player.
Yes.
Megan actually has a pretty cool way that we're going to use to keep track of the dummy player, Hefe. So Megan, you want to tell them how we're going to do it?
With this antenna bobber that I got from Disney, it's too pretty to put out on my car and have it ruined by the elements, so I've just kind of bought it and I never really put it on my car. So I thought, well, that's a good way, and we'll just pass that back and forth. We'll put it down here on the candles, and then we'll just move it back and forth.
Because you like to think that you're from London.
I'm the
aren't you?
Anglophile here. I mean, it makes sense. Come on.
Okay, so we actually have our 3 events. We had them shuffled and we picked. So actually we didn't pick, we just did a random. So the first one we have here is the bubbling column. I almost thought they said the bubbling cauldron.
I mean, you think it would.
Then I thought leaky cauldron because
Leaky
it's in
cauldron.
London.
Leaky cauldron.
So at the end of this round, before scoring and in turn order, each player selects any building they occupy and randomly removes 1 beefeater. So that's one we've had before.
Yes.
And so what that means is you want to try to make sure you are in a building with somebody else, because then you get to remove them. So that is our event. We'll have that right on top. So turn order actually is not based on youngest player. It says
not?
random.
Well, okay, I'm the Anglophile in this house.
Yeah.
So I think I should kind of get this.
Yep. So we're going to shuffle our deck of cards. We all have the identical deck. And we are going to draw 6. And from those 6, we will choose 2 to play. And, well, we'll just talk about it here as we play. Okay, so we have, out of the 6 cards that we drew, we have chosen 2. The first card is going to be where we're going to place our beefeater. The second card is going to be what ability we are going to use. So since Megan has chosen to go first, she will go, and then I will go, and then Megan will play for the dummy player. Now, the way we're going to play this is we don't know what these 2 cards are, but whoever has control gets to select where they want to place and which action they want to use. So, Megan, go for it.
And what we found easier is to keep the differentiating of the location that you're playing and then that ability. We always keep that card up with our location on the left-hand side, and we flip it first. That way we just know. So I'm going to go into number 9, which is the workshop. And then my ability is going to be the lookout. Add 1 extra beefeater to a building plus or minus 1 from where you just placed. So I'm just going to go ahead and put him in the hospital.
Because the hospital is number 8.
And then my little marker is going to go up to number 9. And something else we found out, it's easier for us to kind of know so we don't like go back on turns if we put that cube on the outside of the turn order, and then once we finish, we just bump them in.
Yep. All right, so my place is going to be number 7, which is, what is that called? The Royal
Regiment of Fusiliers?
Yeah, it's called the rumor requirement.
Yeah, that works too.
So
This isn't Hogwarts, though.
my ability is add 1 extra beefeater into a building that I just placed.
Hogwarts is in Scotland anyway. It's not even in London.
Hogwarts is in Scotland?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Highlands.
So now Megan will control
Yes.
dummy, Hefe.
Let's see. Hefe. We a little mean on Hefe, calling him the dummy.
Yeah, I don't think he takes offense.
All right. So they're going to go to number 11, which is that right there. And then the focus is use the power from the card you chose for your location. So this one says the beefeater you just placed cannot be moved, but it can be removed. So place another beefeater on top of it to indicate its promoted status.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that he actually does anything else. It just kind of shows that
He's there.
You can't move him.
Yeah.
So now that we've played our 2 cards, we take those and we make sure we put them aside and don't get them mixed up with our deck. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the round.
Bump these in.
Yep. So now we're going to look at the 4 cards we have remaining and select 2 from that.
He is going to be number 1.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the...
I mean, I wasn't really trying to, but, you know, it happens. I'm trying to kind of think what would hurt me less.
Well, here's the problem with playing as a dummy player. Sometimes you're going to make moves that the dummy player probably wouldn't do.
Just to kind of help yourself.
Well, this really doesn't help either one of us. Although,
I mean, that's
actually,
kind of the aspect of them being a dummy player. They make stupid moves.
I'm going to do this. So I am going to have him place in number 8, which is right here. And then his ability is going to be add 1 extra beefeater into the building you just placed.
Wait, I'm in number 8.
Yeah.
That was
so that actually did work out after I thought about it a little bit more.
All right, so I'm going to go into 13, which is over there. So
It's the chapel. Go into the chapel and we're gonna get married. That's from even before my time.
Okay. So I'm going to use the
cannon.
Boom. In the chapel. We got a cannon in the chapel. We're very well defended for prayer time.
Like trolls in the dungeon? Cannon in the chapel?
You know, destroy an empty building in the same color that you just placed.
So what we do is we just take a raven and so in the same quadrant that you just placed?
Same color.
Oh, same color. Orange. So any orange, we just put a raven on that, and that building is toast.
I just kind of pick random
Cannot
ones.
be used the rest of the game. All right, so that was, you chose 13, so you're going first. All right, so I am going to go to number 2, right there. Yeah, I'm going to go last. And then add 1 extra beefeater to the building, plus or minus 1 away from where I placed. So I placed in 2, so I could either go to 3 or 1. You know what? I think I'm going to put mine in 1, which is the, is it say the witch tower or the white tower?
White tower.
Witch tower.
Could be the white witch tower.
The white
it's
witch tower.
not the white wall though.
What's the white wall?
Isn't that from Game of Thrones? The white wall.
I have no idea. I just know they have colored weddings.
I don't know. They do.
The
You
red
don't want to be
wedding.
at a wedding. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Those are not good.
All right. So that's the end of that round. So you get him.
Cool.
These get pushed back.
I'm first. Yay. So I'm going to go to number 12. So that puts me down there. And then switch any 2 beefeaters in the same quadrant that I just placed.
So my 1 is actually in that quadrant.
I'm just gonna do that because it doesn't really matter, but the 2 cards left didn't really have a choice. And then he's gonna go. He's gonna go to number 9. That 9 or is this 9?
That's 9.
This one, there we go. And then use the power from the top card of your draw pile. So remove 1 beefeater from a building plus or minus away from where you just placed.
And you just placed them in 9.
9.
So plus or minus 1.
Yeah.
So either 10 or 8. Is anybody in 10 or 8?
Where's 10?
10's right here. So nobody's there.
I'm an 8. Ugh, that didn't help me out. But
Well, you can remove him.
I could remove him. Yeah, I guess.
Because it doesn't. It says remove 1
Yeah.
beefeater.
I'll do that then.
All right. This is gonna get
That
really
was at
weird.
number 9, yeah.
So
It's gonna get weird.
yeah, I'm on 12.
Okay.
So you can put my dude on 12.
Yes.
So my 12 is there.
Ooh, but we are tied now at 12.
Yeah. And then unfortunately, the tiebreaker is not going to help me. Move the beefeater you placed into an adjacent building. So I'm just going to go over here to 13.
Why are you with me?
So, remember
did you just
the
want
event?
to see the cannon in the chapel? Wait, no!
Remember
I
the
did
event?
not remember this.
But here's the kicker. So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the event.
I always forget about the event.
Yeah, so the event says at the end of the round before scoring and in turn order, each player selects any building they occupy and randomly removes one beefeater.
Ooh.
But here's the thing. The tiebreaker on the turn order is based on the second orange number if you both have the same first number.
I get it.
So mine's 5, yours is
I'm
7.
7.
You actually are...
So I get to do what now?
you get to remove
Well, that's easy.
You remove a beefeater from a building you occupy. So you actually have 3 options.
I don't want you.
I mean, you could do that.
I mean, he's a dummy player. I don't mind. I just want to get how are you.
So now I do not have that.
Because that prevented you from kicking me out.
Actually, I do because I have to do here.
Yeah. But
Which-
it prevented you
thanks.
from getting me out, though. And then he's
It
just going to
did.
get me out.
Well, so you are
Me.
controlling him. Yeah, you don't have a
It doesn't
choice.
matter. It's me.
Yeah. So that is the resolution of the event.
Yes.
So now what we're going to do is we are going to score.
No.
In the first round, we're only going to score orange. So we're going to see who has the most buildings. Not the most beefeaters, but the
You
most
do.
buildings. So you have 1, 2. You don't control that one.
You have
He
3.
has 1, 2. He doesn't control that one. I have 3.
You're just lucky.
So because I am in first place, I will get 2 of the ravens.
And we both tied.
You both
for
tie,
2.
so neither one of you is going to
Well,
get
that's not
any ravens.
fair.
So, yep. So that is the end of the first round. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take the 6 cards that we used for this turn.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to figure out 3 that we want to keep and 3 we want to basically get out of the game. So, and the way we have done the dummy player is we just take the 6 cards he uses, we shuffle those up, we grab 3 randomly right off the top, we put those back in the deck, and the other 3 we just remove from the game.
Yep.
Megan's already selected her 3.
Yes, I have.
And I gotta select my 3. Okay, we are ready for round 2. The event we have says no effect this round.
Well, that's easy.
So we do not have to worry about any
That's
events
kind of helpful.
for this one. Okay, and I am starting off controlling the dummy player. However, you are first player.
Yes, I am. So I'm going to go into number 9, which is the workshop right there.
Is it Santa's workshop?
I don't know if it's Santa's. I mean, Santa in London. I guess he might have an outpost in London. Who knows?
Father Christmas.
There you go. So my ability is the lookout. So add 1 extra beefeater to a building, plus or minus 1 from where I just placed. And I'm just gonna go right there. Plus or minus, so it has to be 8.
Yep.
So there.
So you placed in 9, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
This 10's gone.
10 is
That is so
gone. It's
sad.
so gone. Well,
But
we
he
must be
didn't-
thinking.
He didn't want to go.
We must be thinking alike because I am placing in number 9 as well. And then I am playing relocate, which says move all opponent's beefeaters from the building you just placed
No.
into any adjacent building. So all means all y'all, and then
Hey,
y'all
it's
go
fine.
into 8.
I got control.
You do have control. You weren't going to have control when I originally picked these,
No.
but that puts me at, I'm at 9.
I had 6 and you have 4, so I'm still gonna go first on that one.
All right, well, let's see where he's at. That's
Is he
funny.
on 9? Did 9 come up?
Actually, this is what he's going to do. He is going to place in building number 8, which
Of course he is.
or wait a minute.
Where everyone else is.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Where the party's happening,
Yeah.
apparently.
And then he is going to tunnel,
In the
which says
hospital.
move the beefeater you just placed to an adjacent building 2 spaces away.
Okay, well that's fine. So 7, 6, 9, 10's destroyed.
No, 2 spaces away, not 2 numbers away.
Oh, where's he gonna go?
So let's put him out to number. He can connect out there. Let's put him out to 28.
Well, no, because he would go 1, 2. He would go to 18. The way the path works.
Oh yeah.
So he would be an 18.
All right. Sorry, I was
you're
thinking that connected. All right. So put his cards aside. Oops. Control is going to go back to you.
Thank you.
Oops. sure to keep those cards separate.
Okay, so I'm gonna go drop or move up to 11, but I'm gonna go to building 24.
This one goes to 11.
24 there. And then focus is use the power, and to promote, just gonna get that little bonus.
Yeah, just so he can't be moved. But he can be killed. Alright, so you went to 11. Alright, so my turn. Put me on 3. I'm actually going to go to 16, which is the something tower there. And then I am going to add 1 extra beefeater to a building plus or minus 1 away from where I placed. So I think I will go to the, is that the black tower or brick tower? It's right on the thing.
It's a brick tower.
The brick
House.
tower.
Oh, that works too.
All right, you are controlling dummy.
I am controlling the dummy.
Hefe, the dummy.
Okay.
We are kind of making the dummy player a little bit more powerful.
I feel like
because in this case, you know, we've already made our turns, so whoever's controlling the dummy player actually can see what we've already done and manage accordingly. That's just one of those things.
Yeah. We're gonna go to number 2.
We could do it before the turn starts, but this is kind of the way we've always played it, so we're just going to continue going with that. I know it's not perfect, so don't ding us on that.
So they're using the focus, which is just this ability. So remove a beefeater from a building plus or minus 1 from where you just placed. And 2, 3, we go to 4. Where is 4 at? Is 4 destroyed? Oh, 4 is
So you
destroyed.
placed in what? You
4 is
placed in
destroyed.
2?
Yeah.
And then you're plus or minus 1.
Oh, plus or minus a 4 or 5. Where's 5? No one's in 5. Well, that didn't really work out.
No, but where did you
I
place?
placed in 2.
You placed in 2,
Oh,
so
so
plus or
3
minus would be 3 or 1.
1. Oh, well, that's you. So then you're going to go somewhere else. Remove a beefeater from a building. That would be you.
No.
That did work out. I overthought that. I made it complicated.
And you also kind of put the cards backwards for our
Oh.
viewers. Okay.
I explained what they were.
All right. So that is the end of that. So we only got 2 cards left.
You're in charge of Hefe. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. So first, I'm gonna go to number 15, which is gonna drop me to 2. And then move the beefeater you just placed into a building, into adjacent building. So they're just gonna go right there.
But he's not
It's
connected.
not connecting.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the to that tower. The why is that
I'll go
tower
there.
tonight? The Bower Tower? Yeah, you could go there.
Bower, I don't know.
Tower.
Something like that.
My
do that.
turn.
Yep.
All right. I am going to go to building number 23, which is the bell tower. I can easily read that
Oh,
one.
it's on your side of the board.
And then I'm going to backstab. Remove 1 beefeater from a building plus or minus 1 away from where I placed. Guess what? Your little guy, he can't be moved, but he can be removed. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Yeah, he was taking a shower. Psycho backstab.
That's just a bit brutal.
It is a bit brutal. But you put me on 10. Okay, so I am controlling Hefe here. So let's see. All right, so he's going to place in building number 30, which is down here. Is that the well tower or the wall tower?
That is the well tower.
Well tower.
There must be a well up
And then he's going to sneak. He's going to move the beefeater just placed into an adjacent building. So I think he will just go over here to whatever this tower is in 29. What does that say?
That is the Devlin Tower.
So that's where he's going. All right, that is the end of that round. There is no event that we have to deal with because it says no effect this round.
Yep.
So now we move on to the second part of scoring. So the first thing we're going to do is look and see who has majority in green. I have 3.
Oh, you do.
1,
majority.
2, 3.
Crap. He has 1.
What do you have?
I have nothing.
You have nothing?
I
Why don't you place in green?
wasn't thinking.
All right, so I will get 2 ravens,
That works.
and he will get 1 because he has 1 in green.
And then orange though.
Orange. So
I've got 1, 2, 3.
you have
You have
1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2. Don't control that. He has 1.
So I get 2.
So you're gonna get 2, and I will get 1.
Yep.
That puts me to 5. All right, so let's choose our 3 cards to keep and 3 cards to get rid of.
Okay.
And get ready for the final round. Okay, we are ready for the final round. The last event is dun dun dun. It is the Thames flood. High waters bring flooding. Well, no kidding. In this round, the moats are flooded. Any existing in turn order or newly placed beefeaters in buildings 28, 37, and 39 must relocate to an adjacent building.
28,
37, and 39.
And 39. Crap, I'm in 39. What happens?
They get relocated to an adjacent building.
Okay. Well, we'll just go there. It's adjacent. Is that it?
Any existing, in turn order or place or newly placed beefeaters. So if you're going to place them that, then they've got to move.
Okay.
So 28, 37, and 39. Oh, you put them up with the Raven.
That way we know.
Well, that's good. So since we only have 7 cards left, it's easy. We just pick one and put that one aside. And looks like I'm going to be going first. So y'all ready to go? Okay. So I'm going to actually place in building number 13. So if you can move me up to 13 in the order there. And then I'm going to incriminate you.
Oh, no.
I'm going to remove a beefeater from the building I just placed.
What?
Bye.
That's not very nice either.
Oh. All right. Now, dummy player. So that you control him.
Okay. You control him. Okay. They're going to go to number 20. And it's going to take them to 7. And they are going to add 1 extra beefeater to a building plus or minus from where they just placed. So they're just going to go right there. Get more control. And then I am going to number 29. And I'm incriminating them, so they're going to go away.
Okay, fair enough.
That's it.
All right.
And you're still going to be first.
Well, good. All right. So I am going to actually go into building number 11, which is the Tower Green. And then I'm going to do backstabby.
Again?
Yes. Remove 1 beefeater from a building plus or minus 1 away from where I placed. You are actually in 12.
That's very not nice.
Yep.
Can I change my cards?
All right. So I'm controlling the dummy. El Jefe. That's Jefe,
What
man.
was your...
Oh,
Sorry,
my
your
number was 11.
There you go.
It's 11. Goes to 11.
Why do you say it like that?
That's from... This is Spinal Tap.
Oh.
This one goes to 11. Normally they go to 10, but this one goes to 11. Yeah, I'm going to do this. So he is going to go into building number
5.
18.
18.
And then he is going to remove a beefeater from the building he just placed. Oops, he's going to remove the other guy that he was there. So he goes to 5. Your turn.
Okay. I am going to... What number did I say I was going to? I was going to go to 32. And then poison. Remove all beefeaters from a building in the same quadrant. I'm in quadrant 2. And so are you.
Okay. So that is that.
Oh, and that was at number 6.
So I am still up.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is the last round. So I got my cards. You're all set.
We're good.
Yeah, I am going to place in number 16.
16?
And then I am going to add 1 extra beefeater to a building plus or minus 1 away from where I placed. So I'll just go into 17.
Oh, okay.
So now it's you.
No, it's me, not him. That kind of messed up my plan a little, but it'll still work. I'm going to go into 15, though.
Oh, my turn order would be 3, by the way.
But it's the last round.
Yeah, and just in case.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just make sure we don't have any
All right.
issues.
And then move the beefeater you just placed into an adjacent building, which didn't really matter because I thought it kind of would, but it didn't because of what you did. You still have control.
Yeah.
And either way, it's not gonna matter much. So
Yeah.
you kind of messed me up there, but you know.
Oh, well.
So he's going to go to 23, and that takes him to 10. And then relocate is move all opponent beefeaters from the building you just placed to any adjacent building. So you're just going to go there. Actually, no, I'm going to put you there. That's what I'm going to do.
I think you just hosed me, kid.
I might have, you know.
All right. So we really didn't have to worry about the event since this is the end of the round because we didn't place in any of those. We've already moved. So the event basically is done. So now we're going to go on to scoring.
Yes.
So we are going to look here, and we are going to score blue first. So I have 1.
I have 3.
You have 1, 2, 3. So you're going to get 2 points.
Yep.
Does he have any in blue?
He does not.
So I will get 1.
Oop,
Yay.
there you go. Then we go to green.
Then we go to green.
Looks like it's
Green
you.
he's got 1,
Tim.
2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3 because you hosed me out of there. So he's going to get 2. I'm still going to get 1.
I don't get anything. But then orange.
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 So that no control there. So 1, 2, no control there. So 2. That's it.
Yeah.
1, 2. I only have 2. You
only have
have
1.
1, and he has.
I have that one big one.
He has none.
Oh, so I actually get something.
Wait a minute. Where do you have 1?
Just
In
here.
orange? Yeah.
Just that one.
So I'm gonna get
3.
3. You're gonna get 2. He gets 1. So I actually have quite a few ravens.
Yeah. I think you
So
won that
let's
one.
count the ravens up and hand the trophy because we want to quote the raven nevermore. Okay, I actually ended up with 10, mainly getting that.
The last one helped. You got a lot from there.
Yeah.
I
Well, did I?
well,
You got the blue. I had
just
the
racking
green.
them up more. From the start, you kind of had more.
Well, it was getting the secondary ones.
Yeah.
That helped.
I had 6, and Hefe had 4.
All right. So now let's get to what we think. Okay, Megan, even though that I won, since you're the so-called Anglophile.
You know what I'm going to tell you, though, since you won?
What?
You should face the raven instead of quoting the raven. You should be like Clara Oswald.
Face the raven.
Face the raven.
Yeah.
Y'all have to face the raven in the end, as she says. But in regards to this game, I think it's a very good game. It is very thinky, though, because you will start trying to figure out more of kind of where you want to go, what might help you with the scoring, but also trying to look out for what your opponent is. And for us, that dummy player, was trying to mitigate kind of what might help us with that, and then what could screw our opponent over.
Yeah, this game is very AP prone.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the components?
I like the components. I like all the little wooden, the cubes, you know, they're a little bit smaller than your standard, but these ravens are pretty cool. I think I pointed that out a while ago.
The red eye.
Yeah, if I can get that guy to focus there. There we go. Just that creepy little red eye. But, I mean, they're very nice, wooden painted and carved out, which, you know, they stand up really well, as you saw. I love this component. I think that might be my favorite, though.
Yeah,
You
well,
know.
that's a custom component
Yeah.
that you get. I know when we used to play, you had Vinylmation that had
There's the Union Jack.
the Union Jack on there. Because we actually started playing this
A
game.
while ago.
It was over a year ago.
Easily.
And
yeah.
that's what we were using.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been since boxed up and packed
Yeah.
away, and we didn't know where it was at. But Megan did remember
I
where
was like, I
Antenna
have an
Bobber was
antenna
at.
topper.
Um,
So it worked out.
Yeah, this is really kind of a cool area control. It plays up to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like playing the 2-player with the dummy because
No.
there's too much that. But this was a way that we could show you kind of how the game plays. Now I've played this with my game group at lunch. We've been able to get a game in. We've played up to 5 players.
Someone
And,
doesn't like it, do they? Because of the AP Pro.
Well, no, my buddy Ken, he played it and he's like, it's okay, but I'm not going to
I
ask
was
to play
thinking
it.
Dwight.
I'm not sure if Dwight's actually played this or not.
I could see him not liking it.
I know several other people played it. but kind of like Megan pointed out, I do like the
card
artwork
is cool.
on
I
the
love
cards.
the stained glass.
Yeah, and uh, Daryl, the designer, is actually also the designer of a game called Sagrada, which also has stained glass windows.
Well, that
So,
makes sense because the Sagrada is full of stained glass windows.
And this came out before Sagrada, so I think there's a little influence there. The one thing I don't like about the game, and this is more of the aesthetics, not the gameplay, is the way the board is laid out. The board has 4 folds here, which would have been really good to have the quadrants line up on that. It would have been made it so much easier. Instead, they've got these lines that are off kilter, and sometimes they're a little hard to make out because your mind or your eye automatically wants to go to where those creases are at. I just think that was that could have been a better choice.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, it kind of plays in with, you do have the candles, you have like the feather over here. I mean, it looks like you're on a desk looking at like the grounds of it, but yeah, I probably would center that a little bit more. I mean, it's not like it changes the gameplay, it just kind of makes it a little bit more straight and centered.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of replayability on there because you're only going to be using 3 of these event cards,
there's so
but
many
you
of them.
have a whole stack of them, and they all do, very different things. And there's
played
a
with a lot,
few.
too.
I think we've probably hit them all by this
we
point.
have, yeah.
There's only is there only one that has no effect
I
this
think
round?
there is. We always, for whatever reason, I feel like seem to get that, no matter how many times we shuffle them.
Yeah, there's only one of those. I was thinking that there was more, but there's not because, yeah, like you said, we do end up getting that a lot.
Yeah.
I think the other kind of negative I have on the game is the card backs. Now, the green kind of sticks out, but the other cards, they're just so dark. There's the blue, there is the red that we use for the dummy, but the other color that they include is purple, and the purple and the red
Well, there's a yellow, which helps.
they're very similar. I wish they would have used more vibrant colors, so that's a little bit of a negative there.
That's such a minor.
But that's
negative.
just for the players.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the gameplay at all.
You're gonna know your own deck because you'll have your own deck of cards, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from with that.
The rule book is there's really not a lot to the rule book, but I think it does an okay job of explaining the turn order and how you resolve ties and that sort of thing. So
That's pretty much what you need it for. I feel like it's just kind of going with the ties because overall the gameplay is fairly simple. I know it is a little confusing at first because you're kind of wondering, like, what do the 3 numbers mean? But then you kind of start figuring it out. It's how you do the cards and all. I think our way helps though, of kind of differentiating. Like I said earlier, like we keep the like the placement card on one side and the action card on the other, just so we kind of know too when we're looking back for turn order and stuff. We know.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps with us. So I don't know if that helps with anyone else, but
And
it's good for us.
As you saw in the intro, the box is not all that big.
No.
So this makes the game very travel friendly. So the gameplay, when we played at work with 5, we were right about that hour mark, maybe a little bit longer. So you might want to just plan accordingly. In a 2-player game, for whatever reason tonight we were really thinking a lot about this, and so that really kind of slowed our game down more so than what we normally do. I know the first several games, at least when I taught you, we weren't thinking as much. We were just kind of going boom, 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 and the turns seemed like they were flowing faster.
But I think it's now we've kind of realized, there is some strategy to how we're kind of placing them. We might want to think about it a little bit more.
And it does kind of get down to the luck of the draw, but you've got 6 cards that you get to choose from.
And you're mitigating those 3 too each round. Keep what you want to take with you to the next. So that does kind of give you an advantage. If you know there's 3 cards you really like to use that ability, we normally end up picking the same 3, I think.
I think I did. I think I kept the same 3 because
I did too, pretty much.
Because a lot of them were, add a beefeater here
but
or
like
remove
we
a
both
beefeater.
picked those cards, so I mean that kind of helps.
Yeah. So yeah, bottom line is I would recommend this game if you like area control games. If you, theme. I mean, the theme kind of plays. No, but the theme really kind of plays out because of how this is laid out.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been anything. Could have been a random castle. And I've not, verified anything that's historic, but I'm assuming that this is all. These are really the names of the different areas on the Tower of London. And where are the crown jewels at?
I don't know. Probably
there is
middle.
There is one of the events that has something to do with the crown jewels.
We always bring up Moriarty with it.
Yeah,
so you have to bring
from
up
Sherlock.
Moriarty.
But
That's such a good scene.
Yeah. So yeah, I recommend the game. I enjoy it. Like I said, some of my lunch group At least one guy, he didn't really care for it as much. But some of the other guys, they enjoyed playing it. We enjoyed playing it.
We do, yeah. I mean, just kind of like we said, it can get kind of thinky, so it is kind of a longer game sometimes, depending on if you're trying to go more strategy or you're just kind of like placing them and boom, 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 like you said too. So
and we're actually kind of playing this late.
We are.
In the
That's
night.
probably not helping. We're tired.
Probably not. My brain doesn't think as well that late at night. Well, it's not real late, but I'm getting old, so
You are, yeah.
So, all right. So that is Tower of London. Like I said, I would recommend it. Check it out.
Yep.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.